Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Friday night, freshman night here at Runeterra Academy for the final time in the regular season this semester. It is week 7, and that means we are rounding out the regular season. Tonight, catching Big Duck Entourage Druids going up against Queen's Gambit Knights. It's a big matchup tonight because playoff spots are on the line. Queen's Gambit Knights need to take the 2-0 sweep in order to make it to playoffs. If Big Duck Entourage Druids can only take one game off of them, they lock in their own spot and knock out the Knights. So, is most definitely some absolute slappers of a game coming out tonight. As usual, my name is Tajigar, or Taj for short, joined on the desk by the wonderful Tiger tonight. How you feeling about this matchup tonight, Tiger?
I'm really excited. As you can see, today's been a whole hype day of League of Legends for me.
True.
I've been watching since this morning, and we're getting right into the picks. Actually, a first
Mhm.
pick of Mumu is something that I'm not so sure if it's going to still be the support Amumu meta or if it's going to be jungle Amumu. But uh, with the picks and bans already on the table, what have you seen from these two teams so far this season?
So I was able to cast Big Duck Entourage one time. Uh, all in all, a very strong team. I would say a lot of strong team play there. 4 out of their 5 members are currently in the top 5 ratings by role in the entire freshman class. 3 of their players were players of the week in their respective roles last week. So most certainly a team that is not to be trifled with. Currently in the 4th spot in the rankings, Queen's Gambit Knights in the 5th spot. But there's one thing that we possibly have to look forward to, which you mentioned just a little bit earlier, which is the possibility of a Kog'Maw mid, which has not been locked in, unfortunately. So we might not. It's certainly up in the air whether or not we'll actually see it. But yeah, that's what we can expect. A lot of strong team play from them. I would say possibly not the strongest early game, particularly in the lower side of the map. Uh, Big Duck Entourage Druids do currently have the lowest first dragon percentage in the entire league, sitting at 9.09%. Going up against Queen's Gambit Knights, who have the highest first dragon percentage, sitting at about 45%. So I would say keep an eye out for early game pressure in the bottom side of the map coming out by Queen's Gambit Knights. But with that being said, we haven't even touched the picks beside the Amumu yet. It is the Amumu locked in first for the Ducks, followed by the Misfortune. No surprise there. Misfortune has seen absolute resurgence into the meta, even in the Worlds. Top tier play, followed by the Leona, and I'm excited. The Aurelia locked in for the side of Queen's Gambit Knights. A Seraphine and Ezreal locked in for the side of the Ducks as we get into second phase of picks.
Yeah, and this really speaks to exactly what you were talking about with the dragon priority. Queen's Gambit Knights just picking up with the strongest bot lane available with the Misfortune Leona that should definitely have prio against Ezreal Seraphine from level 2 on. And with that being available to them, they almost certainly should have the ability to go take that first Drake off the board, first 2 really, before anything can really come back on the other side, unless we get some real insane lane swaps coming through from BDE Druid. But I think that on the other end of that, the scaling with the Ezreal and Seraphine is really good. And going into the late game, that means that they can have priority in the mid lane and top side. Depending on the picks, I mean, Poppy's not going to be like owning lane, but that might force the Aurelia to be swapped to mid. So I'm going to be interested to see if it's going to be a flexible Aurelia pick or if it's just going to be Poppy following Aurelia wherever she goes, because then you can put up the W, not allow any of the dashing around. Navia picked up here as the last pick for BDE Druid, and that gets them a pretty solid front to back team fight comp.
Yep, most definitely. I would want to touch on that Aurelia pick. I am actually expecting that to go mid. The mid laner for the Knights, Captain Ryu, has quite a history of Aurelia in their solo queue ranked games. And with the Mordekaiser locked in, that most definitely will be an Aurelia going mid. But the Poppy pick, I think, great into the Aurelia. I'm assuming that Poppy's Steadfast Presence active will also stop the Zenith Blade and a Hecarim E, correct?
Yeah. Yes, I believe that's the case. for all three of those abilities. It would even stop a Gale Force if you want to
Mhm,
build a Gale Force Misfortune. So, going to be a lot of utility coming out of that pick. And I think that both of these drafts kind of have interesting differences from each other. It's a lot of scaling for Big
mhm,
Duck Entourage, which I am hesitant to favor because in the long run, I think that scaling matters a lot, especially at lower levels of competitive. Which, I mean, no offense to any of the teams, but when you're playing in the freshman class, it's a little different than if you're in junior or senior. Uh, but with this being the case, that means that all of the prio should be in favor of Queen's Gambit Knights here. They've picked three lanes that should be at least having opportunities to win. I'm not sure if there's going to be an issue with Aurelia into Anivia because it's range versus melee.
mhm,
But it's at least two and a half lanes where they should have prio, and we'll see if they're going to be able to take advantage of the early game power that they've invested in.
mhm. I think early game power is going to be the name of the game, because, like you said, you have some strong scaling from the side of the Druids, but it's not just early game power, but some very snowbally champions, I would say, as a whole on the side of the Queen of Gambit Knights. In the Misfortune, I believe if you watch, what was it, Rogue versus Fun Plus Phoenix earlier today, you saw Hansama on the Misfortune getting ahead early and was able to obliterate uh, his opponents for the rest of the game. In Aurelia, that gets fed, very scary. A Mordekaiser literally 1v5 if they get fed enough. Then even the Mordekaiser pick into this. You said that the Druid has a very strong front to back 5v5 team fight. With the Mordekaiser, you can throw that all into disarray. If you take the Amumu or the Poppy out of the fight with the Death Realm, uh, and I would say those two champs probably forming the backbone of the 5v5 for the side of Druids, you suddenly have wide open. If you take the Poppy out, wide open for an Aurelia to just immediately start, press R and start dashing in. And so I think that the Druids have to be careful on how they pick these fights.
Yeah, one thing that I'm interested in is the different players that we're seeing
Mhm,
on the stage here, because I think that it's like 8 out of the 10 are the players who we've been seeing at least for the last few weeks from these couple of teams. But I'm trying to make sure that I get this right. But I don't think that Swag Money Boy or Gitano have been on the stage at all for either of the teams unless they're different names of the same players. Is that right?
Let me see. I do have rosters and everything pulled up right next to me here. I can see that. And are we looking at Druid or the Knights here? Is it
So Swag Money Boy is
for the Druids, right?
Big Duck Entourage, and Gitano is on Queen's Gambit
Yep.
Knights.
I can. Looking at game history, etc. I can see that it's possible Swag Money Boy played last week, but for weeks 1 through 5, it was all 3 minutes as the jungler for the side of the Druids. And so, which is, I would say, relatively concerning for sure, because a jungler that is not completely in tune rest of the team with the rest of the team, that is one position that you very much want in tune with the rest of the team, being able to communicate and show up when and where they're needed and expected by the rest of the team. So I would say it's certainly possible that that is a weakness that could be exploited, but it's mirrored on the side of Queen's Gambit. Like I said, weeks 1 through 5, Gitano was not playing for the team. So certainly keep an eye on both junglers during both the games, and we might see that completely throw out of the window our thoughts of maybe this first Drake pressure for the side of Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, and the other interesting thing about that being that both teams have the jungler who's played all of the games that we can see in the support position right now. So it could be a matchup of 3 minutes versus Ray Leone in new positions that they
Mhm.
haven't been playing for most of the split.
True. What? I'm not sure if this holds true for like every team, but I've heard that jungle and support are two very popular positions for shot callers to be. Um, certainly possibly may have heard different, and certainly possible I may be completely wrong. But at the very least, you got the junglers who have been working for the team for the vast majority of the semester still on the team and in a position where they can work as a possible shot caller, which they may have experience with in the jungle. So I would say if you do want to send them anywhere, support might be a good option.
Yeah, and especially in the current meta where roaming is a very common
Mhm,
thing for supports to do, and the jungle position and the support position are often linked in their rotations as well as they are in their shot calling abilities. And I think that that's spot on. I don't think that I've heard anything different than that jungle support. I mean, you want to have your jungler be shot calling so that you know that you have smite up when
mhm,
you're going to go for an objective, but then support as well. When you're not farming, you have a lot more ability to go look around the map. A lot of warding is of import when you're playing a position like support,
mhm.
especially once you can get the ward stone quest completed. Uh, and then after that, I think that uh, the champions are pretty similar. Although with the Seraphine being picked up for 3 minutes, I'll be interested to see how that goes. But definitely playing a hard engaged champ is nothing new to Rhea Leone or Leona, fitting right in. Even with the name, it makes sense.
Yep, on that Leona. Now, with drafts all rounded out for both sides, um, you think we'll see much side lane pressure coming out from the side of Queen's Gambit? I can see them certainly thinking, they have a good front to back 5v5. Well, we're never going to give that to them. We're simply going to send Mordekaiser off to his side lane, maybe Aurelia as well. And we're just going to pressure them from the sides and make sure that they can't keep up. And I think looking at, those stats like first dragon percentage, uh, first baron percentage, etc., it seems like that plays rather well into what Queen's Gambit has shown as a strategy as a whole this semester.
Yeah, I do think that that's an option to send split pushers to a side lane, and I think that it would be good to see some of that as a macro choice from Queen's Gambit Knights here. But I did want to mention on the back end of that the disengage isn't great from Queen's Gambit Knights. I mean, Misfortune ult and Leona ult can be used defensively, but they're
Mhm.
much better placed offensively.
Yeah.
So I would think that more often than not, they're going to be looking to go for picks because that's what their comp is really best at, in my opinion. You can get Hecarim going on a flank, you can get Aurelia going on a flank, and then Mordekaiser comes in and singles out whoever you want to take out of the fight, and then you can get fights pretty successfully on your terms. And I think that that's the option that I would expect to happen more often than split pushing. Not that split pushing won't happen at all, but we'll see what Queen's Gambit Knights are going to be looking at going into game number one.
That we will. Like I said, big stakes up here for grabs tonight. It is playoff positions on the line. If Big Duck Entourage Druids can simply take one game, doesn't matter if it's the first game, if it's the second game, as long as they can take one, they're in the playoffs and sending Queen's Gambit packing. But if the Knights can pull out a 2-0 sweep, they are locking themselves into that playoff position. So expect the gloves to come off and blood to be spilled on Summoner's Rift tonight. Stick with us. We'll bring it all to you in game one right after this break. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Summoner's Rift with Game 1 of Big Duck Entourage Druids on the blue side, going up against Queen's Gambit Knights on the red side. Player spot on the line here for both of these teams. One of them's much more pressured. Queen's Gambit cannot drop a game, or they're out of playoff contention. So we'll have to see how things start, but it doesn't look like they want to start too spicy. You know, play it safe. Better safe than sorry. And it's going to look like it's going to be the 5-point for both teams here.
Yeah, I was just checking the histories of both teams on the team sheets, and I noticed that there were 11 Aurelia bans against Queen's Gambit Knights. So this is one of the first times that Captain Ryu has been able to get it, and that's exciting. Hopefully, we'll be able to see why it keeps getting banned.
Yep. All right, that's just rude, Chief. You don't poppy range melee auto attack the dancing Mordekaiser. Please don't kill here.
Ooh.
No
I think
honor.
that if that was Flash Q auto, it might have killed.
Goodness. All right, so there's a rough start for Ratsu up there in the top lane on the Mordekaiser, going up against the Chief on the Poppy. Both junglers starting on the bottom side of the map, which means, I'm assuming they're likely going to rotate top side. But we'll have to see if Gitano on the Hecarim does want to return bot to see if they can keep up their long history of first Drakes.
Yeah, and with that, top side trading early is going to mean just that much more. And Rotsu took kind of the wrong side of that first trade. Chief picking up the corrupting pot means that definitely going to feel good to be the Poppy in this situation. Ooh, fishing for honor could be trouble.
Went in deep, forced a flash away. Yeah, close getting the kill, but honor there, fighting for honor on the Anivia. Just start pulling back under tower too quick.
Yeah,
also TP on the Relia, not Ignite.
With the egg passive actually trying to dive there meant that Captain Ryu didn't even have a chance to get that kill, and ended up having to expend flash. So that definitely could be punished. Level 2 bot.
And Zenith Blade will land in the bot lane. Leon going in, Ignite taken away, and it's going to be the Queen stepping up to try and secure the kill, but it's not going to be enough. Meanwhile, First Blood in the mid lane, as fishing for Honor's egg passive will ensure they get that kill, but the Queen will find one in the bottom lane. Prevailed as we're going down. A double kill for the Seraphine now. 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Coming back around. Good double E coming
3 minutes into the game, too.
Exactly. Just this time in the game. But we came right back around to what I was talking about with Captain Ryu. He tries to go for the dive, pops the egg passive, but then dies to the tower. What are you doing?
What's worse to dive? An Anivio, a passive up, or a set?
I don't know, but Chief might be in trouble here.
Chief's going to get knocked back by the Hecarim E, forced to flash away, but there's a flash roll by Ratsu to stay on top and let that darkness rise as Chief falls. There's a not a Celico in the top lane. There's a successful gank in the top lane, trying to even things out on the opposite side of the map now is Queen's Gambit Knights.
To answer your question, it's still set, because if you try to dive Anivio with passive with 2 people, you will get the kill. If you try to dive set with 2 people, you're going to just get double killed.
True. Easy E setup. All right, now. No scuttles. Steal coming through. Ryu in a tough spot. Gonna dodge that. Stun beautifully with the Blade Search onto the Scuttle Crab. The Scuttle Crab did still go over to Swag Muddy Boy on the Amumu. And a teleport expended by Ratsu there. That's gonna put TP advantage in favor of the Druids on the Anivia.
Yeah, and with that means that if there was a contest to be had from Big Duck Entourage onto the Drake, they would have the teleport advantage. Wait, Chief actually had to blow his as well, so never mind. But it could be a close fight still because of the teleports being evened out here. That's all that the case is, given that Chief has no teleport either.
Yep. I mentioned this as we were loading in, but I don't think we pointed out to you, dear viewers, in case you haven't noticed. The Druids are running a double exhaust in the bot lane. If you're paying attention as you're watching Worlds, which I'm sure all of you were, being fans of the game of League of Legends, you know that that's boring, but it gets the job done. As you can see, the exhaust timers are a bit different for Prevail and 3 minutes. It's possible that that is because 3 minutes took the inspiration tree and it has 5% less summoner spell cooldown, but it could also mean that they use it correctly and layer their exhausts very nicely. Make sure they do not exhaust at the same time.
Yeah, actually, well, we may have some fight before I can say anything.
Chief is trying to stay on top of Ratsu, or is it Ratsu trying to stay on top of Chief? No Q coming out just yet. Very low. Minions still attacking. And both of them practically one-shot.
Yeah, no Keeper's Verdict coming up just yet. Level 6 ticking over for Rotsu at the end of that fight, but I don't think that you want to take that one. Rayo could be in trouble here.
Yeah, there's Root landing. Prevail following up very well, and another kill is going to go over to 3 minutes on the Seraphine. I mean, action in the top lane. Death Realm coming out. Chief is going to go down. Nicely played by Ratsu, taking advantage of that blindness in the bush.
Yeah, and we see trades going across the map. The other way than I expected, though, I was like, top lane, maybe you get some prio coming out for Big Duck Entourage, but it's the other way around. It's the bot lane that's the prio with the Ezreal Seraphine. 3 minutes, trying to go 3 kills a minute right now, but at the same time across the map, Rotsu playing it out very well. And looks like BD is going to betray our stats department with the first Drake here.
I hyped it up so much. Why'd you have to take first Drake, Druids? But yeah, you know, kind of weird that the Seraphine Ezreal are pushing in the Leona Misfortune. But I guess it really do be how it is sometimes.
Yeah, it really do be how it is. But I guess that could be partially from the range versus melee. Flash forward.
I can respect the attempt. There's a true shot barrage, but it's going to go wide.
Prevail already level 6, though. That means that they can definitely maintain this pressure. And I think that 3 minutes has been playing this out really well, of getting push in the wave, and that allows Prevail to put down some poke with the Mystic shots, and that's really subverting my expectations. I mean, I still think that an all-in's pretty lethal from the combo of Misfortune Leona, but they're not level 6 yet. Fishing for Honor are going to catch up Gitano.
Oh, 2 levels up. That's a lot of damage coming through with that R-Q-E combo. Flash forward, and the Band Shot is going to land. Curse to the side. Remember to make sure the kill goes through, and it's Swag Money Boy finding the kill on their counterpart in the jungle.
Yeah, Gitano getting caught with the hand in the cookie jar there. Now there's more stuff coming on bot lane.
But no mana on 3 minutes. Out comes the exhaust. It's going to be both the exhaust used on either member. There's a heal coming out from the Queen, keeping their support alive. Prevail just trying to get away, but that movement speed on Misfortune is nothing to be trifled with. Rayo Leon's going to use his in the play, but a nice flash from Prevail and keep them out of that attack. It's going to be the finish off. Teleport channeled. It's Fishing for Honor coming in. Not much mana could make things difficult. A flash out of the Glacial Storm. Misfortune trying to get away, but a nice wall is going to keep them here for the time being. Swag Money Boy knows where you are, Leon. There's no getting away. Both bot laners fall for the side of the Knights.
Cheeky recall, but a good call out there from Swag Money Boy. Almost got out Rayo Leon, but better luck next time. Meanwhile, cross map plays coming out. Rift Herald going to go in favor of Queen's Gambit Knights, so we'll see how they're able to use that. Hopefully you can at least get a couple turret plates before they fall, as you should be able to with this first Rift Herald of the game. And playing towards top side this time around, Rotsu with 2-0 on the Mordekaiser, maybe the carry of choice here for Queen's Gambit.
Yep, and you know, I've seen it before. The Giga-fed Mordekaiser down here in the freshman class. I literally 1v5ing. Just get your passive procced, stand in the middle of everybody, and watch them die. And, you know, Ratsu's first back was actually the Blasting Wand, so a very aggressive choice there. I'm assuming going to build into that Rift Maker, but in the meantime, we have action down here in the upper side. Jungle Death Realm is going to be used by Ratu onto the Amumu. In the meantime, Ryu staying on top of the Poppy. Chief is going to go back into that Flawless Duet and get stunned. Meanwhile, there's another kill by 3 minutes in the bot lane. Trade in the top lane with the help of the turret. All in all, nope, we still have action going on. Captain Ryu trying to stay on top of the Anivia. Anivia has passive ready to go. Gitano channeling that E. Can they get around them to pull them in? No, they cannot. Bailing out. Stun will land. Ryu cues the cannon, and that's going to make things difficult. As I think all in all, across the map, a 2 for 3, I think.
Yeah, Fishing for Honor coming back in as cleanup crew in 3 minutes, picking up another kill on the Seraphine. But at the beginning, the 3v2 in the top side looked pretty good for Queen's Gambit. They were able to pick up 2 kills there. And with the Rift Herald on top of that, now it looks like they're just going to drop the Herald for 2 plates and maybe look to get some vision over the Drake coming up here in just about a minute. But I thought that it was a very good keeper's verdict from Chief to set up the fight, but it ended up still being good as a 2v2. Or more accurately, I should say, 2 1v1s happening. Rotu able to secure the kill in the Shadow Realm under tower, and then Captain Ryu able to win the 1v1 versus Swag Money Boy, but across the map not able to win out. Overall, Rayo Leon could be in trouble.
Yep, there's engaged in the bot lane. Second cast advantage charge is ready to go. Is going to catch up Leona. Another single target, Amumu R comes out, but it secures the kill, and it goes over to the Ezreal. That's what you want. And the bot lane of the side of Druids far ahead of Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, first time that you're able to get the kill over onto the Ezreal. At what point on the Seraphine do you say, I'm 4-1, I need to build, a Dark Seal, start stacking some AP damages. Now, big Drake fight starting up here.
Flash forced out of 3 minutes as 2 members trying to stay on top of the Seraphine. Most likely going to find the kill here. Chilling Smite comes out to keep them around. Gitano finds the kill. A cheeky recall is being attempted, but Swag Money Boy is spotted out. Does not have flash ready to go and find themselves back in the Shadow Realm with the Mordekaiser. It is probably going to be a slow beatdown for the Amumu. Yes, it will. And thank you very much for the leash, kind of. Unless they're trying to drag this out, but...
Yeah, no smite available for Gitano. They're actually playing a risky business. Fishing for Honor, able to keep it in the pit with a Glacial Storm, but and a good Obliterate comes out from Rotu to secure.
Nice combos coming out from Fishing for Honor on this Anivia, all in all. 3-0-2 on that champion with the Mythic completed. So, probably going to be serving as one of the primary carries in these fights. Seraphine does have the Moonstone Renewer completed. Rift Maker on Ratu on the Mordekaiser. And that's all she wrote so far as mythic items go.
Ooh, Rotu's dirty. He's going to try to take this 1v1.
There's that passive proc, and it's just going to be a slow, agonizing death for Chief on the Poppy. Zenith Blade is going to miss in the bot lane. No engage coming out. But now we're going to see action in the mid lane. Now comes the Hecarim R, doing nothing but driving the Anivia under the safety of their own tower.
Yeah, the action just won't quit. I keep getting confused when I see the Anivia Qs come out. Is Ryu trying to fight?
Yep, Ryu's trying to stay on top of this W channel to try to buy some time, but it's not enough. Gitano now does not quite have E ready to go yet. Fishing for Honor is... Goodness, playing this absolutely masterfully. They're just going gold to stay alive. Action in the top lane, meanwhile. True Shot Barrage should go wide and not finish off Gitano, but Ratsu might be finished off as we speak. No Death Realm ready to go, and the shutdown goes to Chief on the Poppy, getting their revenge, finally.
Yeah, I was going to say that I'm getting confused on the stuns coming out from Fishing for Honor, because they look to me like the Swirl Seeds from Lilia.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that doesn't matter too much when you can just 1v1 an Aurelia in lane.
Yep, well, let's see. Captain Ryu trying to stay on top of Chief at the moment. But now as the TP is channeled by Fishing for Honor, Aurelia is going to be forced to back away. A nice wall place, but the Q will miss. Ryu packing.
Leandri's starting to do a ton of
Mhm.
damage here. Captain Ryu forced to back way away. They're fishing for honor. Keeps finding the counter engages. Once a play starts, you can always count on fishing for honor, fishing for kills on the cleanup.
Right. Second Rift Herald is being started by Big Death Entourage Druids, but there's no guarantee they will be the ones to claim it, as Ratsu is stepping up against 3. Does have Death Room ready to go, and they're going to take in the Anivia with them, trying to go for this big shutdown. A nice flash from the Anivia, completely dodged that Q. Gitano's come in, but it might be too little too late to protect his own top laner. There's going to be the kill going over to the Anivia. Chief is low, Anivia is low, Ryu finds a stun, Egg is popped, but not quite broken. Moneyboy's going to flash over the wall to stay alive. Shutdown going over to Gitano on the Heck Rim. Keeping up the chase on the Amumu Onslaught of Shadow is going to send you back the direction you do not want to go. Bandage Toss trying to buy some time. Curse of Sad Mummy is just barely off cooldown, but the base is going to serve as the refuge of safety. You shall not pass, Gitano.
And nothing you can throw over the wall is a Heck Rim. No flash available, of course, because Ghost is the way that you want to go. Still 3-1-3 though for Gitano, so a pretty good showing so far. And really both sides in position where they know now which member they're looking towards for the carries. About 3,000 gold in advantage for BDE Druid right now. Off to a good start, pretty even on the objectives as well. One tower taken down already in the bot side, so a great early game coming out from Prevail in 3 minutes, honestly. Able to take the Ezreal Seraphine lane and make that a poke lane that actually is able to get the prio and take down the first Ray.
Yep. Subverting all expectations. Second expectation we've had subverted so far this game. But now Ratsu might be in some trouble with no Death Throne ready to go. Going to get locked up in that Glacial Storm. A nice Keeper's Verdict. Going to keep them in the zone. They're going to go down. A nice engage coming out from 3 minutes in the mid lane is just barely not enough to kill the Queen. You don't know who you're messing with. You're messing with the Queen. And now we're going to see Leon rotating up through the bot side river with the help of their mid and jungler. But no engage coming out. Currently looking to be a 3v4 if they do want to go in, and so probably the best decision not to step forward. It's Cloud Drake will spawn.
I understand that heal, but I don't think there was any damage over time on the Queen at that point, so maybe a little bit unnecessary, but better to blow a heal on accident when you don't need to than to straight up die, so fair enough. Rotsu going in hot.
Yep, that's going to be E missing. Q will land. This is most likely going to be another stellar kill for Ratsu up in top lane. Granted, Chief was already rather low. Xenoblade is going to go in. It's Leon trying to stay on top of the Seraphine. Like he's going to fall, trying to get away. Chilling Smite, Curse of Sad Mummy, locking them up, trying to buy time for the support to get away. Will it work? Not quite yet. It's so long. They're still alive. It's going to be real Leon finding the kill. Captain Ryu tied up with 2. Bandage Toss going out, and it's going to be a trade back, most likely, for the side of the Druids. Looking like it's going to be 3 to fall for the side of Queen's Gambit. If Moneyboy can just secure this kill, but they cannot. All in all, a 2 for 2.
Yeah, and I thought that looked like a really good onslaught of shadows coming from Gitano, but there was just no follow-up damage coming through. I mean, Captain Ryu was putting out damage, but he was on the other side of the fight. And so there was just members that got feared up for a couple of seconds. Good damage coming out in the burst form from Gitano. But Ray Leon's just kind of standing there like, hi, I'm Leona. I can press my buttons, do a small amount of damage in addition to getting several moments of CC. And they had all the CC, but the little bit of damage wasn't really all that helpful. But on the other end of the fight, good kills coming out for Captain Ryu. So, well, not on to Captain Ryu. But, kills being set up there anyways.
Yep. Yeah, Ryu not having the best of times on the Aurelia, despite, finally being able to get their hands on the champion after it being banned away 11 times. On that champion, and about 20 CS up over the Anivia. And speaking of CS, We have quite a deficit down there in the bot lane, with the Ezreal being about 45 CS up on the Misfortune, which, as we've said over and over again, is not what we expected.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, you just gotta accept the case is that right now Prevail is the AD carry that has had the better early game,
Mhm.
and the support from the team has been really good as well. I mean, 3 minutes has come up very clutch with some stuns. Now 4 and 3, we saw 3 minutes at 4 and 1 earlier, so having a little bit of a struggle into the mid game, but the laning phase still paying off the dividends. We'll see if Rautsu is going to be in trouble here.
Perhaps flashing on to Prevail, but a nice architect is going to keep them alive. Meanwhile, outside of the Death Throne, the fight is continuing to go on. It's going to be Ezreal stunned up and finished off all on their lonesome. Not quite yet. There goes Ryu in with the Vanguard's Edge. Going to find one kill. There's going to be two falling for the side of the Druids. Moneyboy flashed over the wall, but it's followed by Ryu fishing for honor, trying to get away. Has a passive ready to go, but is far behind enemy lines. But they're still going to get the kill with the empowered E onto Gitano, but the rest of the fight is going the way of Queen's Gambit, unless Fishing for Honor can turn things around. Solar Flare is going to come out. Keeper's Verdict keeps the Aurelia out of dodge. Fishing for Honor going to get away, but we'll have to see if Chief can. Pull it up against the wall, can provide some space, and the fight will end there. All in all, not exactly sure in whose favor it went.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the kill score was 3-2 in favor of Queen's Gambit Knights, but they're not able to do anything about Fishing for Honor. Fishing for Honor, you can't keep getting away with this. What, you just walk in at the last second of the fight and then pick up 2 kills just like that? What was that, like 500 damage on one E? Ridiculous. And it's working out really well for BDE Druid right now. They've got the advantage in the Drakes. They've still maintained their 3,000 gold lead. It hasn't expanded any further, but still holding steady there. And 9-1-3 for Fishing for Honor. So that's really where I'm looking at as what has made the big difference so far in this game. If we want to check gold, I mean, that's almost 2.5k of the lead being only in the mid lane. So that's really tells the story of the game so far.
Now, as we look how things formulate here, we are seeing the Mordekaiser on their own up in that top lane. TP is almost ready. I think it's going to be ready by the time this dragon spawns. It's Cloud Dragon, Cloud Soul coming up. If Druid can take this dragon, it will put them on Soul Point. But it looks like Queen's Gambit are setting up for a possible contest.
TP just came up. Roach is channeling it immediately.
Yep, teleport is coming in. Keeper's Verdict is going to catch 2. It's the Mordekaiser and the Aurelia out of the fight. That's going to make things difficult. It's going to be the Queen finding the kill onto the Seraphine. A beautiful Soul Flare is going to catch 2. The Queen trying their best to kite away and dish out the damage, but it's not like look like it's going to be enough. But Ryu has rejoined the fight. A double kill for the Misfortune. They're going to go down to the Poppy. And now it's the Aurelia versus the Poppy. Normally a matchup that favors whoever can play their abilities better. But now it's just a 2v2 here down in the bot lane. Ryu isolated all alone, but the Gore Drinker heal is going to come up. A beautiful E stun from the Poppy is going to keep them locked down. Finished off is the Leona by Prevail on the Ez, an ace for the side of Druid.
And Roatsu wasn't even able to kill Fishing for Honor in the Shadow Realm 1v1. This is just the point where it's too much. You can't outplay an Anivia if you can't even 1v1 with the Mordekaiser. And just a good team fight in general coming out. I did think that it was a little bit mismanaged of the ult layering, the Keeper's Verdict coming out right before the Encore. I would have liked to see Encore first, then into the Keeper's Verdict. But no matter, when you got this lead, you should be in a good position. And with the Soul Point on the side of BDE Druid, they have the chances, and all they need is one, so it's double elimination point for them. All they need is the one win in this game or the next game. So having this great position should be a great comfort for any BDE Druid fans out there.
Yep, and I do want to actually talk about that Keeper's Verdict we did see in that last fight. It I completely agree with you in that their ult layering was not ideal, but honestly, that was a beautiful Keeper's Verdict. Vanguard's Edge went out, but as soon as it did, Keeper's Verdict caught both the Mordekaiser and Aurelia and sent them all the way back to their own blue buff as Giton forced to use Onslaught Shafts to try to get away, but going to be finished off by the Ezreal two-shot barrage. Baron has been started by the side of Druid down to 3,000 health with the jungler down for the side of Queen's Gambit. They cannot do anything to contest. It's going to be Baron going over to the side of Druid.
Yeah, so it'll just be up to Big Duck Entourage here to show us what they can get on the back end of this Baron. Uh, I think that when you're the side of Queen Gambit Knights right now, there's no way you can contest that. You
Mhm.
already just lost a pick on as Katana went down. They were able to pick up a mid lane tower, so that is a good thing to start with. I think that they also picked up a bot lane tower on that push, so we'll see if two towers get matched here by Big Duck Entourage. But anytime that you're able to take Baron, it's a good time to take Baron,
Yep.
and that continues to push the gold lead to about 4,500 now.
And it is mythic items have been completed across the board for all members. And at this point, I would sure hope that they have been. There's going to be E coming out as Stun a Death Realm. Leon out of position because it was sent to the Death Realm. Vanguard's Edge is going to come out on top of 3 minutes. A Solar Flare is going to catch 2. A beautiful Flawless Duet is going to catch 2 in the stun to Queen. Honor the run now going to find the first kill finish where Honor is going to answer back. Bullet time being channeled, but no one's in it. Triple kill Quadra.
Oh,
For
stole the
fishing for
penta.
Honor. Ace Prevail is going to round it all out. No Penta for you, Sag. And it's a 5-for-1 in favor of Druid, marching it down mid lane.
Yeah, they've got a wave. How far can they take this? It's at least an inhib. I don't know if they've got enough time to take down the Nexus, but they could start firing away on the Nexus towers. They've got Baron as well.
Yep. It's going to be 10 seconds on the first respawn timer. Gitana will be the first to try to hold the line, followed by the bot lane duo. First Nexus turret will most definitely fall here. It's now up to Druid if they want to try to take down the second. Minions are still tanking the turret shots, so that's good for them. Here comes Onslaught Shadow's going to catch 2 in the Flea. A beautiful counter engage. Possibly no Amumu ult coming out just yet. It's going to be Captain Ryu trying to go in the back line, but Steadfast Friends is going to keep them grounded. Double kill. It's the Anivia running wild. Still has not fallen in this fight. There's a shutdown. That Zanya's Anguish. DOT ticking away. A beautiful wall is going to keep the Leona here. A second Quadra kill in under a minute for the Anivia. Nexus open, down to half health, and Fallen. It's going to be Big Duck Entourage taking the game, locking in their place in the playoffs. But I think they still have to finish off the best 3.
Yeah, let's finish off the best of 3 series. Hopefully we can see Queen's Gambit Knights at least putting up a fight for the rest of the game. But as you say, that does lock in the playoff spots. And a great showing from BDE Druid closing out on their early advantages. And I was shocked to see that they were able to get an early lead in any lane, but of all lanes, I just can't get away from the fact that it's an Ezreal beating a Misfortune in lane, and especially MF Leona. But it's all it comes down to execution and just better execution coming out here from BD Druid.
Yep, and better execution in the bot lane. The top lane was a little rocky for them, but all in all, Chief held their own. Uh, at least, didn't let the Mordekaiser get too out of hand. But I don't think we can wrap up post game without mentioning Fishing for Honor on that Anivia. Played it absolutely divinely, finishing the game 17-1-8, and unsurprisingly most damage in the game. But just nice R placements, nice walls, ensuring that they get this empowered ease off. And at the end of the day, there was absolutely nothing that Queen's Gambit could do to try and finish off that Anivia. Anivia couldn't be finished off, but game 1 has been finished off, and with it, Druids are punching their ticket to the playoffs. Game 2 still has to come up. It's still a best of 3, so technically Queen's Gambit could, spit in the face of these recent victors and take the next 2 of these games, at the very least win some bragging rights. Love to see how it goes down right after this quick break. Game 2 coming at you. Druid versus Queen's Gambit Knights.
There's no medicine for what you put in. I don't know, and I don't know why, but I let it in. For that I repent, and I don't know, and I don't know why. Like I was saved from the shit that you said. Wish I could change the words that you said. And there's no medicine, there's no medicine. Your words crawling to my ears tonight. I'm crawling hypnotized by parasitic lies. I'm crawling inside. I'm crawling inside. I'm crawling inside. Now here we go, you dedicated, you celebrate. When you break me right now, you're killing me, premeditated. I'm devastated. Leave me on the ground. Like I was saved from the shit that you said. Wish I could change the words that you said. And there's no medicine, there's no medicine. Your words crawling to my ears tonight. I'm crawling hypnotized by parasitic lies. I'm crawling inside. I'm crawling inside. I'm crawling inside. Playing mind games, manipulating me, operating me, surgical eyes. You sedate me, drunk on a memory, then it all fades. And I read, you were here for what? I don't know. Why'd you whisper nothing when you need something? You wanna stay for what? I don't know why. But then your words crawling to my ears tonight. I'm crawling hypnotized by parasitic lies. I'm crawling inside. I'm crawling inside. I'm crawling inside.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to week 7, the final week of the regular season here in Runeterra Academy's freshman class. We just saw Big Duck Entourage Druid take the first game of this best of 3 against Queen's Gambit Knights and send themselves to the playoffs. But we'll have to see if Queen's Gambit can regain some dignity and take the rest of this series. Getting into Champ Select, no surprise that the Anivia would banned away by the side of Queen's Gambit after seeing what Big Duck Entourage proved themselves able to do with that champion in their roster. And it will now be first phase of bans done. They're already getting into champion selection picks, so they are very eager to start this game. Ash, the first ADC, is being locked in first, Cho'Gath and an Amumu, and now getting to the final pick of first phase for the side of Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty quickly through the draft, but I wanted to take a moment to give us some more information that's just developed. Zenigma Unknown taking the 2-0 win over Flannel Esports will lock in the first seed from Division 1. So we've got our seeding locked out of Division 1. Still waiting on the results of Big Duck Entourage Shaman against Roar's Silvers this week for Division 2's final standings. But for Division 1, it'll be Zenigma Unknown as the 1, Kingpin Gaming is the 2, Shogun 2077 is the 3, and Big Duck Entourage Druid as the 4.
All right, that's how it stands. Getting to be able to see how things kick off in playoffs next week. Same place, same time, next Friday night at 8 o'clock p.m. at twitch.tv/Runeterra Academy. But we still have some action to get through before we do that. So I'm getting the feeling Big Duck is like, yes, we locked in our playoff spot, so we can do whatever we want now. As their first 3 picks are the Misfortune, the Cho'Gath, and the Quinn. The set quick pick by the side of Queen's Gambit. And, Cho'Gath support, Quinn top, I guess?
Yeah, maybe. Could be Cho'Gath mid as well. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
could even be Cho'Gath jungle. Cho'Gath, a very flexible champ. And I think that I didn't realize this before, but it looks like the first 3 bans for BDE Druid are not available for some reason. They might have had to have an emergency sub, which is what I'm guessing is the cause, but stopped them from winning the first game. So we'll see if they're able to continue their success on to game number 2.
Right. The Aurelia and the Leona banned away by the side of Druid. I guess after seeing what happened last game, there's we don't quite feel like dealing with that right now. Mid lane going to be the next target by the side of Queen's Gambit, banning away the Rise and the Fizz. So I guess they're not quite convinced that Cho'Gath is going mid. We'll have to see as we wait for Big Duck Entourage Druid to lock in their first pick of the second phase. It's going to be the Victor. So I guess that's going to be going mid. Victor, a popular pick for both mid laners on these teams. Answered by the Zoe.
Yeah, just keeping the Cho'Gath as a flex point. No one knows where it's going to go. But the Zoe pickup gives Queen's Gambit Knights a pretty strong pick comp here. I mean, they've got the Amumu Bandage Toss. You've got long range with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Set pretty good as well with the Showstopper for picks, and of course Vi with the Assault and Battery. It's just a whole pick comp coming out from Queen's Gambit Knights, and they had something like that the last time around, but it wasn't so heavily invested in pick. It was partially team fight as well, and it wasn't exactly clear on what it wanted to do. It even had some split push aspect. Wait, I'm not sure if I'm remembering Queen's Gambit Knights comp or if I'm remembering BDE Druid.
No, I think it was Queen's Gambit. They had, the Leona, the Aurelia, the Mordekaiser, the Hecarim with the Misfortune. So yeah, I can see how that's a really weird kind of jack of all trades, but very much master of none kind of team comp. And it's going to be the Rakan support. So, like you said, this is looking like going to be a Cho'Gath jungle for the side of Druid, which I'm personally excited to see.
Yeah, I guess that gobbling up neutral monsters is just as good as gobbling up minions. I'm interested to see how good of a ganker Cho'Gath is, because I think that with good setup, especially with like the Rakan Misfortune bot
Mhm.
lane, they should have a lot of ability to go for ganks there, as well as putting down the gravity field in the mid lane. Anytime that you see Zoe walking too far forward, you may be able to pick that one up. But I think that looking at the draft as a whole, I like it better for Queen's Gambit Knights, because having all that pick ability is just so threatening all the
Mhm.
time. And anytime that you have a pocket of vision that the enemy team doesn't have any ability to see what's coming, then the pick comp becomes so strong. So any early advantage is definitely going to be translated into a nightmare scenario trying to walk into anything. And obviously, at this point, the games are being played more for house standings than for standings within the class. But still, you don't want to play a game of League of Legends against a pick comp with a lead.
Yep, for sure. Let's see. Quinn's top. That's something that I think Quinn is actually getting nerfed next patch, if I'm not wrong, or she was nerfed recently, which is kind of surprising in seeing how she has not had all too much of pick rate. I believe her bonus attack speed on her W is going to be dropped by 10%. But into the set, do you think that's a good choice? I can see it kind of working because Quinn is all in all pretty good at commanding distance between herself and her enemy, and going up against a set for whom positioning is nearly everything. I can see if Chief is good on managing those E's, casts a Q to keep them blinded, how the Quinn might actually be in a pretty good spot going up against that set.
Yeah, I think that if it was on like a land, then Set might be able to uh, hit Facebreaker on a vaulting Quinn.
Hmm.
But if you have ping more than like 15, then I don't think that that's a possible reaction. So still maybe a predictable thing, but I don't think that you're actually able to see that animation start and be able to cancel it, unless you got some sort of transcendent ability to see things before they actually happen. But if that's the case, you should be better than Gold in League of Legends.
Yep. And, maybe Ratsu has a lot of experience playing Quinn top, and they know like this is a situation in which they'd E me, so they know what's coming, and they can just press E on their own. Um, let's see. I can see it. The CC potential, the CC chain potential on the side of Druid is absolutely frightening. With the mix of, like you mentioned earlier, the Rakan, the Victor, the Cho'Gath. That's basically one person sitting at one spot for a very long amount of time, which really opens up doors for this Misfortune to wail away with that bullet time when there's not so much of a combo potential on the side of Queen's Gambit.
I think that there is a pretty good combo with Curse of the Sad Mummy and Enchanted Crystal
Oh,
Arrow,
I can see that.
we'll see if they're able to get the maximum amount of effect out of that.
Mhm.
And I think that Big Duck Entourage Druid just looked like the more complete team in the first game. So no matter what the situation is, if they're able to carry the fact that they're playing better individually and as a team into this game, then they should have a pretty good look.
Yep. A pretty good look is what they may have. Pretty good look at both of these team comps in action is what we will all get as this game 2 of the best of 3 is starting. I mean, it's basically all for bragging rights from this point onwards in this series. It's Queen's Gambit Knights on the blue side now going up against Big Entourage Druid. Druid, like I said, as we said before, playoffs locked in. They are the 4th seed going into next week. So we'll just have to see if they want to make some spicy plays here, as there's not much on the line. Getting into game 2, make sure you stay with us as we bring it to you after this quick break.
Yeah! I am the Lightbringer. Now listen, fellow warriors, I ask you, should my campaign come to an end? There's way more to avenge. Whoa! 50 million souls live in this realm without much hope. Not too long ago, this kingdom was a golden state of hope. Yeah! Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace, restore our glory to live forever. Yeah, bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the Lightbringer. Call down the reckoning, bring back hope and peace, restore our glory to live forever. Call down the reckoning to bring back.
We are back at it with this final week of the freshman class here at Runeterra Academy. It's Queen's Gambit Knights on the red side going up against Big Duck Entourage on the blue side. Yes, my friends, your eyes do not deceive you. That is a Predator Cho'Gath jungle locked in for the side of Druid on Swag Money Boy. And besides that spicy pick, we see a spicy start here possibly coming out from the side of Queen's Gambit Knights. All 5 in the bot lane, but now they're walking over a ward, and that's going to send anything they want to do, out the window.
Yeah, I mean, they should be still able to get this invade off and get deep vision. I'm not sure how much they want to commit to staying for this, and maybe try to steal away a blue buff. But ward coming out on the opposite side of the map from fishing for honor, so it's a trade of deep vision at the very least. And I think that when you're playing the Cho'Gath jungle, I definitely can't see level 1 fights being optimal.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that we're gonna see from Swag Money Boy that maybe you try to go for like a level 3 gank or something, but a lot of just trying to get to level 6 so that you can start being a beefy frontliner.
Yep. It's just all be a matter of time for that Cho'Gath. I'm curious as to whether we'll see a more tanky or AP focused Cho'Gath come out. I wouldn't be surprised if it is like an Everfrost and then into some more tanky items after that. So a layer on the extra CC. As both junglers are going to start on the red side of the map with that invade. We'll just have to see where Gitano on the Vi feels like going. And I'm assuming that's mostly going to depend on which of these lanes are able to gain or lose prio.
Yeah, I think that it's worth mentioning. No more double exhaust bot lane.
Yep.
We've got heal coming back on the table for Prevail. So you'll love to see that get a little bit more aggressive in the lane, although it didn't seem to be a problem for them first time around.
Yep, lots of damage coming out on the bot lane. A big trade. Rail Leon brought to just over 2 800 health on the Amumu support this time. Chief and Ratsu going at it in the top lane. A full grit bar, a flash forward, and a missed E. Haymaker comes out, but Ignite is ticking as Chief kites away and secures solo first blood up in the top lane.
Yeah, just not a good predict from Rotsu, and Chief walking down, able to dodge out the CC and just put in the autos, and that's the ranged versus melee dream scenario.
Yep, and Rangers and melee is always rough in the very early game, but when you give your opponent that first blood, it's just, and when you expend flash at the same time, it's going to make it all the worse, as Utano is going to get locked up in this gravity field, and a sleepy trouble bubble and Q combo going to deal some damage onto the Victor, but the Queen is forced to flash out of there in the bot lane, and not use steal, just a flash to survive as Chief fires away. A flash forward by Fishing for Honor is going to find the kill onto Ryu, but it's traded back with the help of Ignite and the tower. 2 kills, 1 for each team in the mid lane.
Everyone gonna burn flash. It's time to spend flash to go for something, or spend flash to get away from something. Really aggressive play coming out from Big Duck Entourage here, making sure that they are going to enjoy the rest of this series. They got the game 1 win now, and looking forward, when you have a game like this where it's kind of more for fun, you got to enjoy yourself, and hopefully all of the teams enjoy themselves when they play the games. It is a game. You're here for fun, and maybe you're here trying to win the money a little bit, but like hopefully there's some other source of stable income existing such that you can be enjoying the games at least a little bit.
Yep. If you really want money, you just get a job. But looks like Ryu is going to be off the books as they fall to a successful gank by Swag Money Boy. And there's your answer to, is Cho'Gath a decent ganker? As long as you can land those Qs, I would say you're pretty strong at it.
Yeah. And the situation being once again in favor of Big Duck Entourage. Early on in this one, 1,000 gold advantage. And Chief once again oppressing the range versus melee advantage against Rotsu here.
Yep, does have the Vamp Scepter ready to go, and that's going to do that extra sustain in lane and make things so much more difficult for that set. Oh, set does have that, that set has set passive, the increased health regeneration, the lower health gets. At the very least, that's going to help Ratsu out. This Rayo Leon is all alone under turret. Thankfully, Gitano is in just one sector over. Here out there, Krugs. And we may see the first support roam, basically, of the night, as 3 minutes goes to get some deep vision. But in the meantime, it's going to be Rio Leon going in to try to get a solo kill. Prepares going to flash away and get away from that Q. Vault Breaker, I think, coming out for Gitano, but Gitano's still going to get the kill.
Yeah, and that's all the flashes that weren't gone. Well, not all of them, but a lot of the flashes that weren't yet gone had to be blown. These teams do not want to sit on flash and trying to go for plays, and Rotsu going to get the stun.
Yep, gonna get the stun. Haymaker just barely does some damage, but out comes the Ignite. Press the attack proc. It's an easy solo kill. Gitano now in the mid lane, trying to capitalize off a Sleepy Trouble bubble, but nothing is going to happen. Stepping forward, backed up by the entirety of their own bot lane. Just 3 minutes in a tough spot. Does have flash ready to go, but it's going to be a bandage toss, locking them down. A nice great end, just trying to buy some time, but it's not enough. In goes the Amu. Bandage toss landing onto the Victor. Predator channeled, but the Cho'Gath does not want to go in. A kill found for the side of Queen's Gambit in the mid lane.
Yeah, good-looking gravity field coming out from Fishing for Honor. But when you're up against 4v2 number disadvantage, at some point you're not going to be able to outplay that as a Rakan plus Victor combo. I don't know what cooldowns were up for 3 minutes. I think there was flash up, but not willing to expend that, trying to get out. And once the first CC landed, I think that it was a clean CC chain all the way through.
Yep, it sure looked that way. Backs are coming through, and it's going to be, I would say, mostly in favor of the side of Druid. We see the Serrated Dirk completed on Prevail, likely going Eclipse, like we saw the Queen go in the last game. Sork Shoes rushed by Fishing for Honor there in the mid lane. and help that damage
Chief.
come through. And Chief, you know, Quinn is as Quinn does. A big roam coming out.
Yeah, no vision, good control ward.
Shows themselves. There's a flash grand entrance forward, and in just over a few seconds, it's going to be the Queen fallen.
Yeah, good combo there. And now the top lane left vacant, so we'll see if the 1v1 going to come all the way down. Can't imagine that this is going to be resulting in any kills, but Swag Money Boy going to cover.
Just look at this damage coming out. Sleepy Trouble Bubble could mean trouble.
This one
Chaos Storm. It's going to just delete Captain Ryu off the map.
Yeah, and Chief back on the run behind enemy lines, able to go lane to lane, looking for kills, looking for anything that you can get. And Gitano now forced to cover in the mid lane.
Yep, it's not going to amount to much. Trying to go in 3 minutes, but Fishing for Honor providing the support for their support. Rune now have a meetup here in the jungle. Trying to clear out that control war, but in comes a grand entrance, and a flash forward is going to be Chief. But not much help needed. Swag Money Boy is going to lock down that kill. A Druid turned their eyes to the Herald, and they're starting to run away with this already.
Nom 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 nom. Cho'Gath better jungler than Vi confirmed, able to pick up the kill on the enemy jungler. And while I may be a little bit facetious there with the 3v1 coming through, it's still a good luck, and picking up the first feast stack of the game on the enemy junglers gotta feel good.
Yep. That's a Herald ready to go now. And it always feels good when you can get those. You don't have to expend your feast stacks on monsters early, so you can kind of save those for later when you're in a lull and you're like, I can just get a feast stack here. Just eat the monster when you get it on champions, since you are not limited to the number of champions you can eat. That's a super duper feels good, man. But Chief in the top lane, finishing off that Noon Quiver, finishing off the Agility Cloak, but then undoing their purchase as soon as I say that, and then redoing the purchase as I say that. Looking like a shield bow, most likely.
Yeah, and I think that on Quinn, shield bow is extremely powerful. I mean, Gale Force is your other option. And I think that the shield bow is a pretty good call here against a pick comp. I mean, if that you can survive for an extra second, that may be enough for the team to get there. It could be trouble for Fishing for Honor, though.
No follow-up. Here comes a Predator Cho'Gath running in. Living up to his name is the Void Predator. Chaos Storm channeled. And there's another kill, another feast stack from the enemy jungler. A beautiful grand entrance charm combo. Bullet time is going to be channeled, but it's going to be 3 minutes picking up the kill. As Bandit toss will go out, Rio Leon just trying to answer back in any way, shape, or form, but it's not going to be enough shades of the last game, as 3 minutes to support is going to get 2 kills in the bot lane instead of the ADC. But we're once again seeing strong early game from the bot lane coming out of Druid.
3 minutes with the carry roots coming back out. Gotta pick up those kills. Killer Instinct with the quickness into grand entrance under the tower. And I don't mean the Kaisa ultimate Killer Instinct. I just mean the player having the Killer Instinct to go in for such things under tower. Could be another fight in the mid lane.
Beautifully set up from the Gratitude, forcing a flash out. Gitano trying to go in with the Q, but they dodge it. Out of the way. But we're seeing Chief moving down with the roam once again behind enemy lines, landing those skill shots in beautiful succession, forcing Gitano to get the heck out of there.
Yeah, and right now it's all BDE Druid. Even if you're not picking up the kills there, 5,000 gold lead almost, and having all of the kills they've already gotten means that even though it's like CS deficit in the top lane, it's like, yeah, but that doesn't matter because Quinn just roams all around all the time. You don't need to take any minions if you're just fighting enemy champions all the time. And that has actually led to Swag Money Boy picking up some extra CS in the top lane, I believe.
Yep, Swag Money Boy's just about 20 CS up on the jungle counterpart, answered in kind by Ratsu over Chief. But like we said, it doesn't really matter when Chief is making these roams and is now 3-0-3 with a 300 gold bounty on their head. Mythics are just starting to roll in. The Frostfire Gauntlet completed on Swag Money Boy, so not that Everfrost build like I thought might come out. And the Eclipse, no surprise, finished off on Misfortune by Prevail.
Yeah, I like the tank choice here because, like the rest of the team comp, is not very tanky whatsoever.
Curse said Mummy is going to go out and catch two. This means channeled assault on battery onto the Misfortune, trying to keep them locked out of the fight. Gitano is way back there, basically 1v3, but a teleport from the set and a showstopper and a beautiful 3-man face breaker is going to stun them all. Mid laners rotating down during the fight. A beautifully timed bullet time is going to bring Swag Money Boy low, finish off once again by the Feast. It's Swag Money Boy 3 for 3 on the Feast on the enemy jungler. The skirmish still continuing down here in the bot lane, but this looks like it might be the end here as Fishing for Honors and rotate back to their own lane. Ratsu is going to make a long walk back to the top as Chief cashes in on plate after plate.
It's another wallet fight, Taj, and now we may have some more trouble going on around the Drake. But whatever the case has been, even when the solid engages come out from Queen's Gambit Knights, it's just overwhelmed by the fact that they just don't have the damage to finish things off because they're down 5,000 gold. 6,000 now almost. Could be a fight breaking down in bot side jungle now.
Yep, there's going to be a kill for Prevail. Passive bonus damage from the Misfortune coming out and finishing them off. Swag Money Boy does have Feast ready to go. Please don't tell me you're just going to eat the jungler again. Ratsu's going to go in, try to find a fight. There's a stun with the help of the chickens. Haymaker dealing that true damage. Shut down plus 600 for Ratsu on the set. That's going to feel good. But Dragon is up in 4.5 minutes, and unfortunately they cannot capitalize on that pick on the jungler.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of miscommunication there coming out. Rare sight that we've seen from Big Duck Entourage. They've looked pretty clean throughout the game, but this time Swag Money Boy walks up and gets in a 1v3, and the bot lane is just collectively like, all right, we're out. Have fun with that. He feasts a chicken, and now bot lane looks like another target.
Enchanted Curse arrows and go out but go wide. It's going to be assault and battery. Unstoppable cannot be charmed as 3 minutes gets into the back line to buy their ADC some time. Fishing for honor as during the fight. Chaos Storm goes out and it's going to be Duck Queen blasted in a single second. Practically one shot by that Victor. Gitan getting into the back line trying to stay on top of the ADC, but it's not enough. Prevail just free firing away on these enemy champions, finding another kill. Now onto the Amumu. They're going to push in and most likely finish spot lane tier 1 turret.
Tale as old as time, fishing for honor, fishing for cleanups, and once again able to come through with them. Good, I believe that was teleport in. Now Chief on the hunt once again.
1 empowered auto, 2 empowered autos, press the attack, proc, ignite, and a couple more auto attacks to seal the deal on the mid lane. And a beautiful flash going to get out of that face breaker. Honestly, I don't think they need to do that. I think they're far enough ahead. There was no stun set up with the blue buff. They could have just tanked that and possibly gotten the kill.
Yeah, and Rotsu in a little bit of a rough spot right now. Still not completed the first item yet. 15 minutes into the game. Looking at the rest of the members, only 1 completed mythic. Now fight breaking out once again.
Nice combo, but Haymaker Shield is going to keep the set alive for the time being. The support and jungler will keep the enemy at bay. But now it's all-you-can-eat buffet up here in the top side jungle for the side of Druid. Except for Grump, because Grump will reset.
Yeah, and when you get the jungle camp stolen away, that's when the gold leads really start to explode. We're seeing it here. 8,000 gold advantage in favor of Big Duck Entourage Druid this game. It's just been a complete stomping all over the map so far, and able to steal away all the resources that you want to get, and even forcing a little bit of grouping coming out in the mid lane by Queen's Gambit Knights, as they're really just trying to find whatever is available without dying on the back end of it. But let's see if Chief's got another kill up his sleeve.
Yep, a nice stun. Enchanted Curse arrow comes out point blank. Gonna buy some time and keep themselves alive is the Queen. 3 minutes too late during the fight to save their top laner. Salt and Battery going to come out. Rail Leon going to try to keep the lockdown going with the bandage toss. A bullet time is going to try to buy some space, but it does practically no damage. Ryu brought very low. As Prevail on the ADC is going to start chipping away at them. It's going to be another kill going over to Fishing for Honor on the Victor Gatan. No, most likely not getting away. Prevail with that Misfortune movement speed, going to keep up the chase and finally kill Captain Ryu, the only one left alive to tell the sad tale.
Yeah, Prevail starting to feel pretty good on this Misfortune, 4-1-5, and backed up by Fishing for Honor's 5-1-4 victor. So clean stuff coming out from BDE Druid. They're going to be able to pick up another tower here with the Shelly. We'll see just how far that the Rift Herald can charge down the mid lane. And looks like the last stop will be at the Inhib tower, but it looks like the siege will continue.
Yep. Turret goes down, Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands, but beautiful use of abilities to make as much space as possible on it by 3 minutes there. Inhib turret falls, but Inhib is still up. At the very least, that's, you know, a chink in the armor now that the side of Druid can possibly try to exploit.
I will say that 3 minutes is out of mana right now, and Prevail and Fishing for Honor both won't have their ults when the Drake spawns. So this could be a chance to fight, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Yep. Paddle Star will miss on the asleep target. You hate to see it. Chief is basically frontlining on this Quinn, and one Paddle Star will be enough to proc that Immortal Shield Bow. Sleepy Trouble is going to land onto Swag Money Boy on the Cho'Gath. The Dragon will wake them up. And this Dragon setup actually looks pretty good for the side of Queen's Knight Gambit. They're going to go in. It's going to be one kill going over to Captain Ryu, but a nice Gravity Storm and CC Chain. Chaos Storm, bullet time. It's time for Queen's Gambit to die. Triple kill for Prevail. Swag Money Boy trying to stay on top of the Queen. Has the feast ready to go. We can see snack time. There's a heal pop to get themselves out of execute threshold. There goes a shield bow as well. It's going to be the Ash kiting for days. Kill will not come through for the Cho'Gath, but it will for Prevail. 4 kills total in that long fight for the Misfortune. And I think the door is practically shut now for the side of Queen's Gambit Knights.
Yeah, I mean, the first Paddle Star misses, and it's like, oh, it feels bad. You maybe had a chance to start off on a good note of the fight. But in the end, Chief was like, nah, I'll just hand myself over to 2 more Paddle Stars coming down. But in the end, it didn't matter because everyone lined up. Great bullet time over the wall from Prevail. Comboed with the Chaos Storm, and that was just too much damage coming out. And that was the end of the fight right there, and everything else was just chase downs coming through. Once again, it's Big Duck Entourage in the control of the game, and Rotu maybe too far forward here, going for the scuttle.
I mean, you know, Rotsu was just doing their best to try to secure that Scuttle Crab, completely ignoring them, even expending the Haymaker just to try to get the last bit of damage off. But unfortunately, it was not to be. The Scuttle Crab is, as we know, one of the most important objectives in the game, or at least Druid treated it as such, making sure that the set cannot collect it. Now they turn their eyes to what may be the most important objective in the game, with the exception of the Nexus. Baron Nashor going to be secured by the side of Druid.
Classic NA Scuttle Crab take right there.
Is that Blabber?
We can celebrate, though, that NA having a better day today. And Leon taking every bandage toss, not maybe to the advice of the wise, but with the Baron buff, I don't know when the time is that you want to fight back for Queen Gambit Knights. It seems like any fight is doomed, but you gotta take whichever one's gonna give you the best odds, be it 10%, be it 5%, be it percent.
The Queen got popped. The Queen was dethroned, shall we say. 3 minutes going to go in, looking for an engage. A nice grand entrance, but going to be finished off for their trouble. And there it is again. The Rupture, Bullet Time, Chaos Storm combo just cannot be denied from Druid. Fishing for Honor, going to get finished off by the Ignite. Now it's just Chief and Swag Money Boy down in here, possibly looking for the end. Chief is strong, but maybe the V is stronger in these close quarters engagements. Peel possibly being provided by Cho'Gath, but not quite yet. There's this respawn. It's the ADC back in the fight for the side of Queen's Gambit as Druid back away.
Uh, and ended a little bit prematurely here
Yep.
is the Big Duck Entourage Druids. They're able to be repelled from the base, and Queen's Gambit Knights showing that they have not decided that they want the day to be over just yet. It will still be a pretty hefty climb to be able to come back to any sort of close match here. But at least they're able to defend their base, defend maybe their honor a little bit as it's being fished for by the enemy mid laner.
Yep, 5, 2, and 11 is fishing for honor. Not quite the explosive performance we saw on the Anivia. Instead, is Prevail stepping up to the plate. 10, 2, and 7 on that misfortune. Uh, the 3 items completed plus the boots. It's the Eclipse Collector Yomu's Ghost Blade, so a fully Valley build, ignoring crit. Super Trouble Bubble going to try and make sure the Queen stays alive, but it's not going to happen when there's a quickness drain entrance for Khan diving right into your face. Chief is going to find the kill onto the Queen. There's a Vault, not quite able to finish off Rail Leon, but they're taking the Blast Cone right over. And where's your team to help you, Amumu? Double kill for the Queen, but finally going to go down, and it's the combo once again. Rupture, Bullet Time, Chaos Storm for the third time this game, showing that it is quite effective.
Not even allowed to defend your Nexus towers. It's game over. Duck Entourage taking the 2-0, showing who is the boss here, going into playoffs on a strong week, and a real team compliment. Not what we normally see, but still able to be executed quite effectively.
Yep. Chief was asserting dominance from the very beginning up there in that top lane, keeping that set behind, able to turn that into these effective roams. But once again, it was the bot lane, I would say, for the side of Druid that really shone. We saw them get ahead of the Misfortune Leona as Ezreal Seraphine in the early game. But now, once they get their hands on the Misfortune, it's off to the races practically from the first minute. 10 to a 9 is Prevail on that champion. When what is nothing short of a blowout in this second game as Druid take it in style, I would say.
Yeah, and you mentioned fishing for honor, maybe not as effective in the second game. I would argue that Prevail just got all the kills because he had Collector this time around. Collector, very good for securing kills on marksmen and assassins alike. And when you're having to contest your other team, the other carry on your team, for all the kills, you may end up with 15 assists on Victor, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, I don't think that anyone's going to be disappointed with the damage graph coming out this time from Fishing for Honor, and just Big Duck Entourage on a whole playing on a different level today. And
Yep.
we'll see if they can carry that momentum into playoffs.
Yep. Now I'm not exactly sure what the actual seeding is. Now we have a prototype playoff bracket. And if things do go the way they possibly are, it could be we could see the first round matchup between Big Duck Entourage Druid and Big Duck Entourage Shaman. So it'll be really interesting to see that inter-org matchup go on if things do turn out that way. But you know, it'll be time to show who's the boss as far as the Big Duck Entourage goes, the Druid or the Shaman.
Yeah,
But with yeah, that wrapped up 2-0 in favor of Big Duck Entourage Druid. Well played to both teams. Strong performances individually coming out from both carries, mid laner, and ADC from the side of Druid. And with that, I think it's going to wrap it up for us. No interviews, unfortunately, until the playoffs start, but don't worry, that's only 1 week away. Tiger, do you have any closing remarks, any last words before we take things out?
well, it's been good to join you guys on the freshman desk. It's a little bit of a different look than the junior division, but still always good to see what the different classes are up to. So thanks for having me, Taj and PVS on the production.
Yep. Yeah. Pick it up right where you left off. Big thanks to PVS for being our producer tonight, pressing the buttons and making sure the screen looks nice. Big shout out to our headmaster Red. Thanks for bringing everything together and making sure everything is possible. Hope you get well soon, as I heard you might be a little sick at the moment. Thank you all for joining us tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for the freshman class. Be sure to tune in same time, or well, not same time because we started late tonight. We were at 9 o'clock. We're normally at 8. But at the very least, same place tomorrow night to catch the sophomores play. After that, come in on Sunday to watch the juniors, possibly catching Tiger on his normal role of play-by-play. Unfortunately, we have to force him onto color tonight, but I would say well done, good sir, on that respect. And then seniors on your Monday. Thanks for joining us. Once again, my name is Tajgar, Tajgar Short, joined by the amazing Tiger on the desk. Hope you all have a great night.
Go C9.
I believe, hopium.